Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about a tale of three impeachments because there are three different potential or preceding impeachments going on right now that are all over the headlines. Yeah, the country's doing great. The first is the big one. President Joe Biden. Republicans are very interested in finding some way to impeach the current president. What for? We don't really know. But it's still all over the headlines because even though they really don't have it all figured out yet, there are some people in Congress, Space Laser Lady, that are pushing for timelines to get this underway. It's worth noting that the Congressional Integrity Project described the inquiry as 8 months of abject failure. That's how the investigation has been described. Because while it has been kind of successful in shaping public opinion about this, they still haven't found any evidence. They've just repeated the claim so often that those who are easily manipulated believe it to be true. Still no evidence. And the biggest sign that there's no evidence is that Republican Representative Ken Buck, who is a member of the Freedom Caucus. Please understand, this is the far-right caucus. This is the caucus I often jokingly refer to as the Sedition Caucus. Even Ken Buck said, "The time for impeachment is the time when there's evidence linking President Biden, if there's evidence linking President Biden to a high crime or misdemeanor. That doesn't exist right now." He said this when talking about the timelines, referring to it as absurd, the timelines. This is not a person who is a supporter of Biden in any way, shape, or form. This guy is ultra-conservative, but he knows it can't go anywhere. He knows that the attempt for proceedings, it's just not a serious thing. So you have that one. Then you have the potential impeachment of Justice Protasiewicz up in Wisconsin. And the main reason Republicans say they want to impeach the justice is because during the campaign season, well, she referred to the districts there in Wisconsin as gerrymandered. She said they were rigged. Can you believe that? Just do yourself a favor. Go to Google and type in most gerrymandered state. The first word you're going to see is Wisconsin. It says, Wisconsin is widely considered the most gerrymandered state in the country. In 2022, Wisconsin voters elected a Democratic governor, attorney general, and secretary of state in state-level elections. State-level elections are not impacted by gerrymandering. It's across the whole state. If the districts consistently turn out Republican wins, but statewide, the state continues to vote for Democratic candidates, that's a pretty consistent, it's a really clear sign that gerrymandering is something that is a concern. So the impeachment proceedings, even the pretext of them, is that a Supreme Court justice there in Wisconsin was able to correctly identify an objective fact. That's the reason. Now, the real reason is they understand if she can identify this, well, she might want to correct it, and that would impact their power. So again, not a serious impeachment. Not something that would be undertaken by anybody who actually cares about the will of the people, who actually cares about representing rather than ruling. And then you have the third one. Republicans, again, impeaching somebody, this time the Attorney General in Texas. And what's the big question about that? Why they're doing it, right? That's the big debate, and most people have come down to one of two opinions. Either there is something that we don't know that is just really, really bad, way beyond corruption, and they're trying to get out ahead of it, or it was something incredibly personal. One of the two. Because nobody actually believes that Republicans in Texas are impeaching a high-ranking Republican because of corruption allegations. And to be clear, I've said that a few times, and I actually got a couple of messages saying that it was unfair to cast Republicans in that way. One of them actually said, you can't pretend like Republicans in Texas don't care about corruption allegations. I would like to remind everybody that Paxton has been under indictment since 2015. And the allegations that he is currently being impeached for, there were whistleblowers about that back in 2020. It doesn't seem like Republicans care about corruption. It doesn't seem like that's a high priority, given the election results and everything. I do feel like those people who don't accept the stated reasons at face value, I think that they have a point, especially when you look at Wisconsin and you look at what they want to do to Biden. Those aren't real reasons either, what's being publicly stated. When it comes to Biden, it's revenge. It's social media engagement. That's the real reason they want an impeachment. When it comes to Wisconsin, it's not really about the fact that she understands that there are gerrymandered districts. It's that they don't want her to correct those so they can maintain their power. I don't know why anybody would expect the stated reason in Texas to be the real one either. Doesn't make sense. But what does all of this tell us? That the Republican Party as a whole has become deeply unserious. That their stated talking points, the stuff they put out to the average person, it doesn't hold up to the slightest bit of scrutiny. And the only reason they can do that is because they know they have people who will just mindlessly parrot their statements and try to convince people that it's true. Because they know their base cares more about party purity and having that little R next to your name than they do about objective fact or the founding principles of this country. That's the reality. Those are the three potential impeachments going on in this country right now. It says a whole lot about the Republican Party as a whole, and it says a whole lot about those people who are willing to just go along with whatever their party says and just do what they're told, like obedient lackeys. Please remember, your representatives, they're supposed to work for you, not the other way around. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.